Good evening, everyone. It's Fire Chief Brian Gaudet with the Hillsboro Fire Protection District. We're getting ready to start our Q&A tonight about our upcoming tax increase. We're going to give it just a couple of minutes to get some people logged in here, and then we'll get rolling. Thank you. Hope everyone's staying dry and warm tonight. I'm just going to give it a few more minutes and let everybody get logged on and get the alerts to their phone that we're live. I'm going to say it now to everyone, and I'll say it again in here in just a second. If you're in a watch party, which I believe is a group that can be created to watch a video live on Facebook, we will not be able to see your questions. So we ask that you leave that watch party and go to our main page, and that way you can ask questions and leave your questions there. We had some issues with this last year when we did this. We were unable to see a lot of questions because they were inside a private watch party group, and we cannot see those. So please go to our main page to stay online with us. We do have our wonderful community service division coordinator Stephanie Jackson working behind the scenes tonight to get this rolling right. She is funneling questions to us via chat. So she's monitoring Facebook and Zoom. There is a slight delay as well too. So just keep that in mind, and we'll just give it a couple more minutes. We got some people logging on now. Sorry, guys, I got to look down at our chat box here now and again just to check with Stephanie to make sure we're rolling in the right direction. Okay, guys, good evening. My name is Brian Gaudet, Fire Chief with the Hillsboro Fire Protection District. I'll let the gentleman to the right of me here introduce himself. He happens to be my right-hand man as well.
I am Deputy Chief Jason Darian of the Hillsboro Fire Protection District. Good evening,
everybody. And we've got our wonderful IT coordinator in the background, Stephanie Jackson, who's working on some of the Zoom and Facebook interactions. There is a slight delay, so if you do get to the point where you ask a question, there's approximately a 20-second delay between what we're doing and the question she's getting, and she's getting it to us in a timely manner. So just kind of keep that in mind. We'll try to get to every question that anybody has moving forward here for sure. And again, I want to remind everybody that if you are in a watch party watching this video, we will be unable to see your guys' questions. So we ask that you leave that watch party, go to our main page, and you can type in your questions in there, and we'll be able to get that answered for you, hopefully in a timely manner. So, all right, guys, let's get rolling here. First off, kind of who we are, what we're asking for, and kind of an overview of the district in general. We're the Hillsboro Fire Protection District, and we're going to the voters again in April at the April 6th election, asking for a 50-cent tax increase. I think there's something right off the bat that we need to clear up. There's been lots of questions about this. We have no affiliation whatsoever with the city of Hillsboro. Jason, you want to talk about that a little bit?
The city of Hillsboro, it encompasses the police department, sewer, water, public works, things of that nature. We're considered a fire protection district. Districts are government entities of their own. We set our own tax rate. We make our own policy, things of that nature. We decide how we're ran. We receive no money, no funding, or any guidance from any city. So when you look up the city of Hillsboro, you'll see on their website, we are not included as one of their departments. We have no affiliation with them. None of their funding comes to us.
Yeah, we put up a little did you know clip here, and include some information, and we're going to get this out on our Facebook page and website for you guys to see as well too. Actually, if you look here at our map, we cover 44 square miles of central Jefferson County. We got our map down here at the bottom. Hopefully you can see my cursor moving over it. The blue highlighted area there, that is the city limits of Hillsboro. That only represents approximately 8.6% of the total square miles that we cover. So we cover much, much larger area than just the city of Hillsboro, as you can see throughout the map. So if you live out off of Highway C, Butcher Branch, White Road, Whitehead Road, even over into Hillsboro, Victoria, Hillsboro Hematite, Highway A, north out BB, and we cover that area as well too. So it's not just the city of Hillsboro. As Jason said, we get no funding from the city of Hillsboro whatsoever. We're not affiliated with them. We understand that they have something on the ballot as well too that will not benefit us at all. We're totally separate entities. So I actually really don't have much information as to what they have on the ballot to begin with. So let me switch back over to us here, and we'll continue down the list. Jason's going to kind of get into now the services we provide, number of stations, personnel, and things along the lines of that.
Yep. So guys, we've been around for many, many years, and most people may not know this, but a fire district performs a lot more than just fire rescue or fire services. We respond to not only house fires, car fires, and brush fires, but if you're having a heart attack, we come to that as well. If you wreck your car, your dirt bike, your motorcycle, your ATV, we also come to those. If there's any kind of a chemical leak, any kind of an incident on water, any rescue at all, we come to this. A lot of times you'll hear people in the fire service say, if you call 911 and they don't send a cop, they send us. We respond to everything. We consider ourselves an all hazards response agency. We will do anything that our citizens need from us to get the job done. Basically, where we're located, our main station is located at 120 5th Street, right in the heart of Hillsboro, next to the new Casey store across from Bridal Ridge Farm. Okay. We have a second engine house that's been around for about, 14 years or so, 15. It's located at 5750 Highway B, just down from the entrance to Rain Tree Plantation. That is roughly 7 miles or so from our current engine house. It's a big difference. That engine house itself covers a lot of open area. That would be the primary responder to Highway C, White Road, and all those areas out there. If you guys got any other questions on where we cover, what we do, please put it in the question box, okay?
We currently employ a total of 15 full-time employees. If you remember here recently, we put a press release out that we received what's called a SAFER grant from the federal government. So we were able to hire 6 people off of that SAFER grant for a period of 3 years. So we were able to get our Station 2 manned 24/7, 365 days a year. So that's wonderful news, great stuff for the citizens out on the west side of the district. Great stuff and great things for the citizens up here in Hillsboro. You'll have a second truck for backup. Approximately 167 times last year, I believe it was, that we had what's called overlapping calls, to where we had multiple calls going on at the same time. So having 2 man trucks is important to both the residents out near 2 housing and the residents up here in Hillsboro as well too. So we got to remember too, once that 3-year grant period runs out, unfortunately, there is no more money coming in from the federal government for those full-time positions. So we got very, very extremely lucky to get that grant when we did. Can you find out more information about the fire district? We got all kinds of stuff on our website. Let me share my screen here again. www.hillsborofire.org is our website, and you can get anything you need on there. And of course, sorry guys, some slight technical difficulties here. There we go. Our website covers everything, who our staff is, who our personnel is. And I especially want to point out to hillsborofire.org/budget.html. Here's where you can find all kinds of financial information on our district, our budget, our audit reports. Every year we have a audit company come in and perform an external audit on the district and our finances and everything along the lines of our business practices as well. So everything that you need is here to make an informed decision as a voter of the Hillsboro Fire Protection District. So any information you got questions on as well too, our offices are always open. Give us a call and we will get those questions answered for you.
I guess one area reference to our fleet, in that House 2 runs what we call a rescue pumper. It runs a tanker and a brush truck out of there. Depending on what type of call, it would be what the 911 center would dispatch to the type of alarm. House 1 does the same thing. We have a rescue pumper, a tanker, and a brush truck, but we also have the boats here. The boats are a new addition for us, fairly recent, and a lot of people may not ask or may not understand why we have boats. Well, if you don't know, we cover Lake Wawanoka, Raintree with 3 lakes, many other private lakes, and a good portion of the Big River. So we have the need for the boats, which is, again, just a great thing for us. We've used them many times already.
Absolutely. Okay, so that's a little background about the district. Let's get into why we need this tax increase, why we're coming to the taxpayers again to ask to get this 50-cent tax increase. And really, we have one main goal with this tax increase. We want to ensure that we have adequate staffing to provide adequate care to our citizens. That's our main goal. Right now, prior to the SAFER grant, we were running 2 guys 24/7 here out of our Station 1. And then we did have some people out at our House 2 Monday through Friday from 8 to 4. Our staffing levels were extremely low. We were showing up to house fires with 3 or 4 people. It just was not adequate. It was not safe, and it's not good for the livelihood of our district as well too. We are a financially sound district as well. I want to point that out. We're not broke. We're not sitting here telling you we're going to shut services down or anything like that if we do not get this tax increase. However, with the way the Hillsboro Fire District has grown, the area has grown over the past 20 years, we definitely need to expand our services to ensure that we are maintaining more on staff than what we are at this time. So a little bit of the history of tax rates for the Hillsboro Fire Protection District, and I'm going to go back and share my screen again here with you. Since our inception as a fire district in 1973, we have gone to the taxpayers a total of 3 times for property and real estate tax increase, and we do have a sales tax as well too. Once initially when we became a fire district, when we got a 30-cent tax rate set, 1991 there was a 15-cent tax increase, and then the last time we went to the voters for a property tax increase or real estate tax increase was 20 years ago, back in 2001. That was the last time. So it's been an extremely long time. You can see the history of our tax rates here, and you can see where we're at right here in 2020 at 5,247 per $100 of assessed valuation. We'll talk about that a little bit more here in a few minutes and exactly what that means. One other thing I wanted to point out while we're here. Oops, wrong one. Sorry, guys. We'll get back to that. We did an inventory and a survey of every fire district in, help me remember, St. Louis County, St. Charles County,
Jefferson, St. Francis, Washington,
and Franklin County. You can notice some of these fire districts tax rates up in St. Louis County. And I'm not saying ours needs to be that high by any means. That's not what I'm saying. But they're up to the almost $3 per $100 of assessed valuation. In all these counties, and out of all of these counties, there is 59 fire protection districts. Right now, we are at, out of the 59, we have the 44th lowest tax rate out of all of these fire districts in Jefferson County. And if we would get this tax increase, we would still be middle of the pack, right in the middle of the group with everybody at, I believe, number 29. So that's kind of where we stand with that.
Another interesting thing that Chief was saying with this, out of all of the fire districts in all these counties that provide full-time firefighters, we are the lowest tax rate.
Guys, I just realized as well too, you're not seeing what I'm seeing. Okay, there we go. Sorry about that, guys. Tax rate number 1, the highest taxed fire district in St. Louis County, and in the county areas that we talked about is Metro North. 2.96 per $100 of assessed valuation. If we got the tax increase, we would be at number 29. Right now, where we stand, we are 44th. And we are the lowest in Jefferson County as well. We have the lowest tax rate out of any fire district in Jefferson County right now.
The last time we went for a tax increase, guys, it was so long ago. Villages of Brickyard wasn't here. Hawks Point wasn't here. Eagle Ridge, Lockport. None of these subdivisions were here. And this is not including all the houses that have been put in on private land, Raintree, anywhere else. Our services are taxed. We haven't gone for this. Basically, we just didn't want to ask the public for funds. We know how everybody is. We know that people have struggled at home, but we need to start expanding our services to keep up with all the people moving into our area.
Yeah, and Jason's going to talk now too about what other struggles we have with the expanding population in our area as well.
So you remember Chief said just a little while ago that last year we had 129 incidents where we had calls overlapping.
67.
Or I'm sorry, 167. Okay, my mistake. Too many numbers going on.
No.
But there were some incidents last year, guys. We had 3, 4, 5 calls at the same time where we did not have enough people. We have one truck, they go to the first call. The next call comes in, and if there's no one else here, we have to call for our neighboring agency. Obviously, that's going to completely increase largely increase the amount of time you're going to wait for help. If you were to have a cardiac incident and have a massive heart attack, you start losing your brain cells at 4 minutes. Okay. You have the golden hour on trauma incidents. The new home construction, you have 2 or 3 minutes to vacate your home during a fire. It's not like the legacy construction older homes where you had 17 minutes. Whenever this time starts adding up, that's your brain cells, that's your home, that's your son, daughter, mom, dad. If we don't have the people to help you, there's nothing else we can do. We're just asking for help to help you. Help us help you is basically how it comes. Here's an example I pulled up on Maps and Directions just a little while ago. When our house 2 was closed, say somebody had a heart attack at Raintree Country Club, not including the amount of time it took for the dispatcher to tell us and for us to get into the truck, it took us 11 minutes, just drive time, 11 minutes to get to Raintree Country Club from house 1. Now that house 2 is open, guys, it's down to 3 minutes. That's going to save someone's life. It really is. 11 minutes is too far of a drive. Okay. Some of the other issues we have, just the amount of calls. Our call volume has increased 45% in the last 15 years.
More than that.
At least. As of today, we're 37 calls ahead of this day last year. Our calls just keep increasing every year. We can't keep doing the same with the same amount of people. We just need the extra help to help you guys.
And guys, I want to add on to this as well too, just a little bit. We aren't big government. We're your neighbors. Most all the employees live in the Hillsboro Fire Protection District. So we have direct buy-in to the Hillsboro Fire Protection District. We pay taxes to the Hillsboro Fire Protection District just like everybody else. So my family's affected, Jason's family's affected. We would not be here telling you that we desperately need this if we did not have the buy-in as well as you guys as taxpayers do. We're taxpayers just like you guys are also. So it's important to us to get this done. And just a fact, last year alone too, and this may sound harsh, I pulled 6 different bodies out of house fires after they had died. And we've got to do whatever we can to give people a chance to survive. So this is very, very important that we get this passed moving forward. All right, little less somber note here, hopefully. We're going to get in now and tell you how our taxes are figured and how you guys figure taxes. So let me get over here and share the screen again. I'm going to start you guys off at a pretty cool website again. I get it. Where did it go? Oh, there it is. Okay, everybody always wonders and asks, how are my taxes figured? That's a great question and a very fair question to ask. If you have not ever checked out this website, it is hosted by Jefferson County. You can find it on the Jefferson County Assessor's website. This has every detail about every piece of property you would ever want to know in Jefferson County. It tells you your assessed valuations, your appraised valuations, and all that good stuff. So we're going to start right here with the house. Happens to be mine. Take a look at the tax bill. I'll tell you where to start to try to figure this stuff out. Now, everybody always gets a little confused with market value, assessed value, appraised value. Whatever is going on in the real estate market right now, throw that notion that that has anything to do with your taxes right out the window, because it doesn't. The assessor's office in Jefferson County and across the state of Missouri uses a mass process to appraise your house for taxation purposes. So whatever your house says on it's worth on Zillow means absolutely nothing to the assessor's office at all. So we're gonna take a look at this house right here as a perfect example. You can see your assessment period, your appraised land, assessed land, your appraised building, your assessed building, appraised total, and assessed total. Assessed total is the dollar amount that you are taxed on your house. You're not taxed on the full amount. Residential house, you're taxed on 19% of the assessed valuation. So you want to know what that is, go to this assessor's website, look up your address, find your house, and figure out what the assessed total is of your house. Once you're done with that, it's just a little bit of simple math. You're going to figure out exactly how much taxes you pay to everybody. Let me switch over here to a different screen. Okay. Make sure that's popping up there. Perfect. All right, we're going to use an example here of a house assessed at or appraised at, excuse me, $134,000. Remember, you're taxed at 19%. It's $25,460 of that house you're going to pay taxes on. Currently, our tax rate is 52 cents, 5217 point on $100 of assessed valuation. So you can see right there in the Excel spreadsheet, you take your assessed valuation, divide it by 100, multiply it by the tax rate. And that's what you pay the Hillsboro Fire Protection District every year, $132.82. It's actually pretty easy once you figure out the formulas, and we're more than happy to help you out with this and figure this out for you. All you got to do is call us and we'll help you out. After the tax increase, 50-cent tax increase will bring our assessed valuation amount from $52.17 up to $1.02 per $100 of assessed valuation. So this house prior to the tax increase would pay $132.82. After the tax increase, $259.69. So if we kind of look down here through the before the tax increase and after the tax increase section, annually $132.82 before the tax increase, that's $11.07 a day. 36 cents, I'm sorry, $11.07 per month and 36 cents per day. After the tax increase annually would go up to $259.69, $21.64 per month, 71 cents per day. So total annually, that's an increase of $126.87, $10.57 a month, and 35 cents a day is what your tax rate would go up if this passed for the Hillsboro Fire Protection District. And hopefully you guys have some questions about that we can potentially answer about tax rates. Jason, do you want to talk ISO and insurance?
Yeah, I can try to go on some ISO here. So currently the Hillsboro Fire Protection District sits at a class 5 if you are within 5 wheel miles of one of our firehouses. Okay. So the ISO is the Insurance Services Organization. Basically, they're the ones that come in and they grade us, kind of like they take us to school. They go through all of our paperwork, they check our training, they check the fire hydrants, the dispatch logs. There's all kinds of things that they check. And that's how they decide which rate we are. So 1 is the best, 10 is the worst. We currently sit at a 5. Basically, the higher you are, the closer you get to 10, the more your insurance rates are going to go up. The lower the ISO rate goes, the cheaper your insurance rate should get. So if this works out, they almost kind of cancel each other out in a way. If we're able to get the ISO down because of the increased staffing and new equipment, you might pay a little bit more in taxes, but theoretically, if it works out, you should be paying less on your homeowner's insurance. So, and it's a big, long process. There's no way I could explain it to you in the short amount of time we have here. And every insurance company grades it a little bit different. You got to remember rate changes and all the other stuff. But just think, the lower your insurance services organization rate is, the lower your homeowner's insurance is going to be. Okay, any questions on that?
Yeah, you guys can just type it in and let us know. We do have one question so far. That's are we receiving the half-cent sales tax? So yes, we are receiving the half-cent sales tax. Excuse me. And we have actually that 5-1, and let me scoot back here a little fast for you. It's a good question. You can see right here in 2019, when the sales tax reduction took in full effect, we actually decreased your property and real estate tax from $62 per 100, I'm sorry, 62 cents per $100 of assessed valuation, back down to 5219, 5198, and then it went down to 5247 this year. So yes, the reduction is there. You have realized almost a 10-cent savings so far from that sales tax. So yep, it is there, and fully we are still receiving that for sure. All right, let's get back. Okay, moving along. So Jason's going to get into on the operations side of things what we're going to guarantee if we get the tax increase.
Okay, so if the tax increase happens, we will guarantee you that House 2 will stay open. We will give you 4 people, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. 2 out of House 1, 2 out of House 2. Now that doesn't count Chief and I coming back in the evenings. If there's a fire in our district, we always come back off work.
And let's not forget about Stephanie, who's here during the day too. Yep. So our staffing levels during the day, Monday through Friday, are up to 7 between the hours of 8 and 4, as long as nobody's off on vacation.
And I don't know if you guys have ever watched a video of a fire on YouTube. It takes a lot more than 2 people to work a structure fire. All right. So basically, some of the other stuff, if this happens, we will guarantee the staffing. We will eventually, we like to say, replace our firehouse here at House 1. It was built in the early 70s and has had an addition.
60s.
Oh, 60s. I'm sorry. 60s, and has had an addition, I believe, in 1990. We have greatly outgrown this facility. Right now, in one of the rooms, we have 4 or 5 people sharing one office. We are storing important paperwork. Basically, we don't have enough room to store the paperwork because we have to keep records of reports and other things along that forever. We can't get rid of those. We had to special order our fire trucks to fit inside the door. The fire trucks have obviously grown over the years. They're not the small little things anymore. They've grown. We have to carry more water. We have to carry more equipment because of us responding to all calls, not just fires. It's very hard to order a truck to fit into a building that was made 40, 50 years prior to the truck being made. And in that new building, we obviously will make sure that there's enough room, but we're also going to put in what you consider a fairly large meeting room in there. That meeting room, it could be used for civic groups, community organizations to have their meetings. It also gives us a lot better chance and a lot more opportunity to teach all of you CPR. We can do fire extinguishers, fire prevention, first aid, a lot of other educational opportunities that are really hard for us right now because we're limited on our space. Another thing that room would be used for is it would be considered it could be considered a storm shelter. We do have people that come to the firehouse now whenever there's tornado warnings. We just can't accommodate that many people. We don't have the room. Another thing that we are able to do is we're able to do a heating and cooling station. If you were to lose your power, this would again guarantee us a lot more room for people to come up to stay cool, stay warm, whatever you need. And say another large scale incident occurs, we have a big tornado, an earthquake, something comes through this area. We have to have room to run basically an operations center out of our firehouse. A lot of agencies coming together, local EMA, maybe national EMA or state EMA, law enforcement, EMS, all those have to have a place to basically run the call. We don't have room for that right now. This larger meeting room will give us a lot more opportunity to serve you both non-emergencies and emergencies. I got all the warming and cooling centers.
So,
Okay.
And we're starting to get some questions to pop in here, and I'm going to hit the ones that I see so far. We have a list of some other questions that just popped in there. Again, somebody asked, why do you need the tax increase? What will you do with the extra money? Obviously, the number one goal that we need this tax increase for is to increase our staffing level, to have more firefighters on duty, to offer you a better chance of survival in the event of a fire or some other sort of a emergency out there. And a secondary goal to that eventually down the road would be to hopefully replace our Station 1 that we have outgrown. It leaks every time it rains. We have a flood back on our record storage room, and there's unfortunately nothing we can do about that at this time. So again, to summarize, our need for this tax increase is we're going to hire additional people. These grant firefighters that we have on staff right now would have permanent jobs upon receiving this grant, and we would then set aside money for a new engine house at some point in time. Next question that came in. Why are you starting at 50 cents? Would it not be more prudent to start with a lower number in order to appeal to the citizens? That's a great question. It really, truly is. We feel at this point in time that 50 cents would prevent us from having to run two measures. We need a new firehouse and we need to hire new people. We would have to run a tax increase and some sort of a bond issue to get long-term debt to pay for a firehouse. Now, that bond issue would be beneficial because it would instantaneously happen. Your rates would be about the same, but really to answer that question, the long-term benefits of doing it this manner, 50 cents at this time, would be able to hire those people, save money to build a new firehouse, and then once that firehouse is paid for, we'll have enough money hopefully left over to go back and rehire some more people to further increase staffing levels. This will basically prevent us from coming back to the taxpayers for any sort of a tax increase for decades to come. It would be long after our administration has left the Hillsboro Fire Protection District. So that's why we're adamant about the 50 cents and why we feel that it is a good deal for the taxpayers moving forward for sure. Hopefully that answered those questions right there. And if it didn't, I would love to sit down and talk to anybody that has any questions about that moving forward to further explain everything to you. A couple other questions right now as we're letting some stuff come in here that we've had addressed in advance. One of the and it's a great question. This first one: why would you take a grant to hire 6 firefighters that is not sustainable? That's a great question, and I don't blame anybody for asking that. But I did that. We did that. We made that determination because in this 3-year period, those 6 firefighters that are on duty now out at our Station 2 could save somebody's life. And I don't think I could live with myself if I turned down that grant because it wasn't sustainable and somebody lost their life in the next 3 years, and that grant could have helped those people out. So that's why we took it. It's our job as administrators to do the right thing for the taxpayers and try to provide adequate staffing. And it was free money from the government. It's fully funded. And it was a tough decision, but I stand by our decision to take that grant.
And
so
those firefighters know there's a chance that this could only be a temporary job.
Yeah.
They were made well aware of that, and they were still willing to come to work for the Hillsboro Fire Protection District. I'd say about half of them were volunteers here already.
Yep.
They said they love it here. This is where they wanted to work. And like Chief said, and I'll say it too, I guarantee you those 6 firefighters will save someone's life in these 3 years.
Absolutely.
Probably many people.
Yep.
So it's a good thing they're here.
Absolutely. The next question that we had in advance, if you can afford to buy a brand new fire truck and other equipment, why can't you afford to hire 6 firefighters? That's another great question. Excuse me. But we have to be prudent with the money that we currently have and the budget that we have been given by the taxpayers. So every year we have to set aside a certain percentage of our budget for capital purchases. To replace our fleet, which has to be replaced every so often. All of our apparatus is on a rotating schedule to get replaced. Cost anywhere probably between $3 and $3.5 million to replace every vehicle in our fleet. So we need to ensure that we are amortizing out our replacement schedule over the next 30 to 40 years to ensure that we're putting aside enough money every year to replace fire trucks. It's no different than if you take a portion of your paycheck and set it aside for a new house or a dream vacation that you want to take every month. We have to do the same thing with our money. We can't just go into debt. We have to set aside a certain amount for buying large capital items such as fire trucks. So we have been very good at doing that. This goes all the way back to when Dick King was fire chief and Dave Scott was fire chief. Everybody here at the Hillsboro Fire District worked hard to ensure that we could set money aside for the purchase of new fire trucks. So it's worked out very well over the years, and all of our trucks are on a good replacement schedule. That's why this tax increase is not about buying new fire trucks. It's about staffing and attempting to get a new firehouse.
So a lot of people ask me this question: why do I always see your guys washing the trucks? Okay, so basically, we're taking care of your money. These fire trucks came from money that the taxpayers give to the Hillsboro Fire Protection District. They get dirty. They get road grime. They get salt from the snow. They get washed continuously. They get maintenance continuously. And that's why we're able to run fire trucks for 20 years.
Yep.
There's a lot of wear and tear on a fire truck, a lot of weights being hauled by this water on a cold start diesel. We take care of these trucks. We do the best we can with the money that you all give us.
That's right.
That's why they're washed continuously. Not many of our trucks you go out there see any rust on them. And rust a lot of times starts from that salt. It's because as soon as they get back from a call, the truck's getting washed. It's getting taken care of. Your investment is being taken care of.
Yep. Another good question. How much money total would this tax increase generate annually for the Hillsboro Fire Protection District? This would generate somewhere in the neighborhood of $600,000, give or take, depending on how the tax rates are set for the years, with a very large portion of that going towards hiring 6 people. That costs somewhere between $350,000 and $400,000 a year when you take into account their salaries and benefits and all that good stuff. And I'll start out by saying a starting firefighter with the Hillsboro Fire Protection District only starts out at $35,250 a year and tops out right around the $41,000 mark on year 4. So our guys are not making a lot of money. So we're being very prudent with that money. And then obviously the rest of that would go back into savings for a new firehouse. Next question, and this was another good one that was pre-submitted to us. A few years ago, the paper reported a huge increase in assessed valuations across Jefferson County. Don't you have a windfall of tax dollars when you reassess? Nope, sure don't. Unfortunately, there's a little thing out there called the Hancock Amendment. Does not allow a political subdivision in the state of Missouri to grow any more than the CPI, the Consumer Price Index, that typically comes out in, I believe, November of every year for the following year. So when we reassess and they go out and come back and say, oh, we got a 10% reassessment rate on home values in Jefferson County, we don't see any of that money. We only get to collect on new construction, and then our budget's only allowed to grow by the CPI. And I believe it was 1.9% last year is what our budget was allowed to grow. So we're not growing very much at all.
Nowhere near fast enough to keep
no,
the
it's
population growth.
It's just not allowed to. and you got to keep in mind too, just like everybody's costs are going up, ours are as well too. So it's a constant game to keep our costs down and shift various things to ensure that we're right where we need to be money wise. So try to answer this question a little while ago. Once you replace the firehouse, what will money will be spent? What will the extra money be spent on the firehouse once you pay for it? And again, that'll go back to hiring more firefighters eventually down the line. I just saw another question come in. Isn't there anything that can be cut from the budget to tighten your belt? We've run an incredibly tight ship around here at the Hillsboro Fire District for a very number of years. We scrutinize every single purchase, every single penny. There is nothing to be cut to afford to hire 6 new firefighters and get a new firehouse. So unfortunately, no, there is nothing that can be cut. We do welcome ideas, and anybody wants to come in and sit down and take a look at our budget. We'll go line by line with you and show you exactly where every single dime is going to, for sure. Next question I had, how long will this tax increase last in the Hillsboro Fire Protection District? Like I said a little while ago, this will far outlast my administration and hopefully the next administration, and we'll long be out of here before we'll have to come back to the taxpayers again. Another question that we get a lot, why don't you just merge with another fire district? Our tax rate is so low and so far away from other agencies around us, there is no chance that we could ever merge with another agency. When you merge with another fire protection district, you have to look at the tax rates of both fire districts, set a tax rate based on what both taxpayers from each entity are willing to pay. So typically when you merge with another district, the voters have to agree to a tax rate on that. And unfortunately, some of our neighboring agencies, Goldman Fire is at $1.13, I believe, per $100 of assessed valuation. Mappaville is at what's Mappaville at? I believe 99 or $1. DeSoto Rural is $1.10, somewhere around in that agency. So there's just no opportunity for us to merge with any other fire districts due to our tax rate being so low at this point in time. There's just nothing in the legislation that would allow us to even consider that with as far apart as we are.
And guys, you were, I believe, someone had asked about tightening your belt. You guys, and I'm sure you all realize this, every year our fuel costs go up, our health insurance costs go up, our liability insurance goes up. We have the same increases that all of you guys have. We eventually have to ask for help. We haven't done that in 20 years, and we don't like doing it. I don't want an increase, but I'll give you an example. A piece of hose out in the bay. It's one of these pieces of hose. There's a few more of them. It was purchased new in 1981 by the city of St. Louis Fire Department. They donated it to us in 1988. We're still using that hose. We're making it last. We stretch every dollar we can for you. We don't waste money, and we don't ask for help when we don't need it.
Okay, so we've kind of run through our program here tonight. I'm looking to see if Stephanie's going to throw in any more questions here for us. We got a little bit of a delay, so we'll give her a few minutes to see if she can get anything else in there. And again, just to recap, this tax increase is going straight to hire and ensure that we're maintaining 6 full-time firefighter positions, and hopefully eventually possibly build a new firehouse at some point down the road. As we wait for questions as well too, I'll tell you there is no other public entity with higher overhead than a fire department. New fire trucks cost anywhere between $500,000 and $1 million, and that may be a little low on some of them. The recent fire truck that we just bought, which we ordered in 2018, was $522,295. Our sales rep said he could not sell that truck any less than $600,000 today. So that's how quick the price of everything going up. So Let's see, I got another question. Thank you for protecting our community. Second, I know we have a low tax rate, but have we considered or implemented part-time or volunteer positions to supplement manpower? So yeah, absolutely. We have volunteers now. We have part-time firefighters as well too. So we use all forms of staffing modules to create all this stuff and keep the staffing going.
And
So, yep,
volunteerism is not the same as what it used to be, guys. These people have families, they have jobs, they have kids in sports. They're not around that often. They're not available during the day when they're at work. Most of them, once they go to bed, they're not available because they have to sleep to go to work. There's a very limited amount of manpower we get out of the volunteers because of that. And it's not their fault.
No.
We're just grateful that they're here helping us.
Yep.
So
we've got a wonderful base of volunteers that comes in and helps us. But NFPA 1710, which kind of regulates, NFPA is a National Fire Protection Association. They set standards for the fire departments. They require us to have, I say they require us, it's a standard that we can't meet. 17 people on the scene of any working structure fire within, I believe it's 9 minutes. And we'll unfortunately never meet that standard. That's what's safe. But we're trying to do the best we can with what we got. We've got to get this additional manpower permanent for sure. All right, we're kind of waiting to see if any more questions come in. And I'm also going to put up my phone number and email address here for you real fast. That way you guys can take it down if you got any questions you want to ask me, not on here. Let's see the best way to do this here. Hold on 1 second.
And I guess as Chief's getting his number and email address ready, we have roughly, we keep around 20 to 25 volunteers has been about our number on staff. Guys, we have a pumper and a tanker out of both engine houses. The paid crews will generally take what's called the pumper, and we rely on those volunteers to show up at the firehouse to take the tanker truck that hauls the additional water. Sometimes they're available to do that, and sometimes they're not. But we're always looking for volunteers as well. But unfortunately, the amount of time that's required too with the training, a lot of volunteers or a lot of people that may volunteer just don't have the time to put in to commit to it anymore.
Chris, we asked a question, how can people volunteer as a firefighter? Lots of ways people can volunteer. We typically have an application process that we take on volunteers with. And let me direct that question real fast. Hold on to a section of our website that will answer all those questions for you. Okay. All right, guys, back on our website here. Hold on, I got all these Zoom things in the way, sorry. Under the operations section, there's all sorts of information about volunteering. There's the application process, there's the application. This can answer all your questions. You can come in and see any firefighter here and we can talk about volunteering and what we need to do to get you on board for sure. So again, that's www.hillsborofire.org/volunteer. And that should get you to the right page.
I think I saw another question pop up. I just didn't have a chance to read it.
So give me 1 second here. Okay. Our volunteers shift dedicated house days, or do you want run POV responses? No, we don't have any set time or any dedicated time that a volunteer has to be here at the firehouse. That would unfortunately create a employer-employee relationship and open up all kinds of issues with the Fair Labor Standard Act. So Nope, you respond as you can. So there are certain requirements that must be met time-wise. I believe it's about 144 hours per year between trainings, running calls, public relations events that a volunteer has to put in here at the Hillsboro Fire Protection District to maintain their active volunteerism here at Hillsboro. We will put everybody through training to become a volunteer firefighter if you so desire.
We've found, especially the last few years, losing several active firefighters due to the time commitment to become a volunteer.
Yeah, it is a commitment. So definitely. And part of the application process is a background check, a drug test, a physical exam. Everything you would have to do to be we pay for it obviously, but everything you have to do to become a full-time employee basically. So and yeah, that's a good point as well too. Somebody asked a question, do we receive tax dollars on all the government buildings and schools in the Hillsboro Fire Protection District? And the answer is no. The courthouse, the schools, any government-owned building we do not receive any revenue on. And there's 12 churches within our district that we don't receive any revenue on either. So that's a great question. So no, we don't.
So basically, if it's City of Hillsboro, State of Missouri, federal building, county building, civic organization, religious organization, which make up almost all of our buildings in town, we receive no tax money from those at all.
Okay, guys, we're going to give it a few more seconds here. Oh, yeah, I was going to put up my email address, wasn't I? I got some questions in there. Okay. All right, guys, while we're finishing up, see if there's any more questions. Hopefully everybody can see that at the top there. My email address is bgaudet@hbfpd.org. Office phone number is 636-797-3619, extension 4. You guys can call me anytime. More than happy to sit down with anybody, go over all of this with anybody. Our board meetings are the second Wednesday of every month. Come on by. More
7
happy to
p.m.
have you in here, 7 p.m. in the evening. Yep. All right, hopefully everybody got to take that down. We'll jump back over and see if there's any more questions.
And again, guys, we've went through it. We haven't asked in a long time. We're only asking because we need the help now. We have a good track record. We're audited every year. We're very transparent with our money. If you have any questions about it, you can go to our website and look. You can come to the firehouse and ask.
Yep.
Just let us know. We will tell you anything you want to know.
One more question just popped in. Which counties are comparable to our district, and what is their tax rate? Well, that's a good question.
I'm assuming she means by size.
I would assume size and population potentially. Let me share the screen again here. It's kind of tough. We're one of the larger counties in the most populous county in the state. I'm trying to think population-wise. St. Louis County is much larger than us.
No. What about Saline Valley? I think Saline Valley is about the same size-wise, not population.
No, they're much smaller than we are.
Are they? Okay.
And maybe that was the question. What other districts are comparable in size and call volume to us? Cedar Hill, size-wise, is larger than us, but demographic-wise, they're probably pretty close on population, I would think. They're at $1.34 per $100 of assessed valuation throughout their fire district. Their budget's approximately $2.5 million, I believe, annually.
And again, we're at 52 cents of assessed valuation.
Correct. And here we can organize this by county as well too, if you would like. Just 1 second to get that done, and we'll scroll through that and take a look at that. Okay. All right, and kind of see where Franklin County's at. Bowles Fire District is at $1.17. Pacific, 83 cents. St. Clair is at 51. Union Fire is at 45. I'll point out that Union has a large sales tax base as well too that they collect money from. So
Quite a lot.
same
larger
thing with
numbers.
Washington Fire District as well too. Sales tax based district. Gerald Rosebud, New Haven Berger, and the Sullivan Fire District, and they have a large sales tax base that they collect from as well too. Here's your Jefferson County Fire Districts. Saline Valley is at $1.52. And then it kind of goes on down the line to Hillsboro at 5247. I'm more than happy to email this chart to anybody as well too. This information was all gotten from the state auditor's office. They release a report every December that discusses tax rates. St. Charles County, and they are obviously much larger population wise than Jefferson County. So it's tough to compare areas like Cottleville and Wentzville to Hillsboro, total different demographic areas. New Melly may be comparable to us. They're at 73 cents.
Actually, that's not updated. They just got a tax increase.
Oh, did they? Okay. There's St. Louis County again too. They're all very much higher than we are. And then on down to Washington County. So again, I can get this chart to anybody. We can get it up on the website as well too. Get back here. Does Hillsboro have any sales? Yes, we do receive sales tax revenue, which we give half of our sales tax revenue back in our personal property tax rate. So we received last year right around $300,000 in sales tax revenue. However, we only kept $150,000 of that sales tax revenue because we rolled our tax rate back from that 6247 back down to that 5198. So yes, we do receive a very small amount. It's a very small amount of our budget is sales tax revenue.
Basically with that, what we're doing is when people come inside our district to go grocery shopping, go to the gas station, go out to eat, they will pay a portion of sales tax to the Hillsboro Fire District. And we're in turn refunding half of it back to the property owners inside the Hillsboro Fire District. Correct. So.
Correct. And we don't have the business base here in Hillsboro to support a large sales tax. And all we can do is a 0.5% or 1/2 cent on certain items. So we don't receive a whole lot in sales tax every year, but it does help.
Any other questions?
Yeah, I'm monitoring here to see if you guys got any last questions. There's some great questions posed tonight, guys, and I really appreciate every last one of you guys posting your questions. It's very prudent that you ask these questions to government officials, and I really do appreciate it.
Or the ones that ask questions, did we answer your question to what you were looking for?
And if not, sometimes these Zoom things are kind of tough to do. We ask you guys if you got any questions or you didn't understand something we said, please come by the office and we'll sit down and go over everything. Okay, guys, I just heard from our IT person that no more questions. So on behalf of all of us here at the Hillsboro Fire Protection District, we appreciate everything you guys have done and how you guys have supported us over the years. And no matter what happens at the end of the day, we'll still always be here for our citizens, and we're here to serve. We appreciate it, guys.
Thank you.
Guys, have a great night.